So now, if we look at some of the crises or the changes that happen in society during this crisis and innovation overlap, what you see is the fundamental values, the major institutions in society, everything gets restructured or re-architected, and then it gets cemented and then moves forward. Now, during its cementing, there are challenges, and it eventually gets to a place where it starts to unravel and leads into the next crisis. But we have the ability to influence some of these. So let's take a look at where we're at today. So let's look at business, government, and university. Now, I believe that if business, government, and university get together and figure out how to collaborate proactively, that we can minimize the crises that are in place and that are coming, and we can accelerate the innovation in technology and life sciences that are here. But there's a challenge with these institutions. One of the challenges is you have the largest institutions in society have some issues that they need to overcome. And I'm going to add, we have business, government, university. I'm going to divert a little bit. I'm going to add church. We're going to add the financial structures. We're going to add law, environmental. So if you look at these institutions, one of the things that is really important for people with major institutions in society is to trust those institutions. And over the past decades, we've seen church, business, governments, we've seen them break trust with people. And we know this to be true. If you're wondering, well, come on. Oh, media is another one, now that I think of trust. If you think of broken trust, all you have to think about is if I picked up the paper in the morning and heard about another church or another politician or another business leader that is involved or embroiled in some crisis, would it surprise me? And the answer is no. And that is unfortunate. That's it's a huge, huge statement about where we are and the level of crisis that we've gotten to. And what happens as an outgrowth of the crisis is the biggest challenge of the day gets fixed. So I would say the biggest challenge of today that we have with these institutions is trust. What that tells me is society is going to demand and force these institutions to repair trust. We've been here before. Though the issues might have been different, we can anticipate what's going to happen. We can anticipate the government's going to need to restructure itself. It's not that the people that go into politics are bad people. There's great people, but the institution's broken. There are too many challenges between media and the lobbyists and all these influences that even the best and purest politician that goes to Washington quickly realizes that they have to kind of play in the game in order to make any kind of impact. Well, playing in the game sometimes, when it gets to this level, is a big stakes game that has major, major impact on the lives of hundreds of millions of people in the United States and billions of people when you look at governments overall. Because it's not just the United States government, it's a lot of governments find themselves today in this same situation. And so that has to be fixed. We see in the Middle East, they're overthrowing their governments, right? They see no path, and so they're overthrowing their governments. And I think that, though I don't think that that's going to happen here in the United States or in a lot of the countries, I do think we're headed toward a restructuring. When I think about, well, how could it be restructured? I think back to the idea of the purpose of government. And government is there really to protect our rights. We think of Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And, we have the right to, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, the government's there to protect those. And so it's there for the people, really, to be an advocate for the people. And it seems that the government has shifted at some point to be about controlling people instead of being an advocate for the people. And so I think there's an easy way to fix this, actually. Wouldn't it be cool if a politician today ran on the following platform? They said, you know what? I'm going to go and be a representative for you, my state, or whatever, let's say they're running for Senate. I'm going to be a representative for you. My job is to bring bills and forth that are going to help us as a state and a nation. And there are going to be many bills that I'm going to be asked to vote on. When I'm asked to vote on them, I'm going to read them, and I have my teams help digest it, and I'm going to expose this to you and have you participate in that voting process. And so you'll have your influence, and it'll be my job to articulate why I believe we should vote one way or the other. And if you overrule me, then shame on me for not articulating the case strong enough, or I need to pay attention and say, okay, well, this is what the people want. I've communicated what the implications are and why one over another, and I'll vote with the people. The idea is, it's not about the power that an individual gets and their benefits for being in office. It's about somebody who says, I want to serve and be a representative for you, the people of the country, and I'm going to do that using the best tools and technology, so that instead of you voting once and I'm in, and maybe I'm the lesser of two bad choices in your mind, or maybe I'm the best choice, who knows, it doesn't matter, but when I'm in, I'm there representing you. I think that's an example. It doesn't mean that government has to go that way, but that's an example of how we can transform and get out of the rut of this broken trust. People want the truth. They want to trust the people in leadership, and you could have the best people going into those institutions, but if they're going into institutions where the structures are causing behaviors that are not in the best interest of its members or followers or employees or whatever it is, then the structure needs to be reshaped. We can shape it today. We have an opportunity to shape it in a core set of values that really are reflective of what most people want.